told him that the only thing he wants me to do, once I get the appointment letter, I should call him. I shouldn't call him for anything again. I said, okay. So after like 2 days after that information, I was called for that job. So they gave me a date to resume, and I called him. So when I got the appointment letter, I showed him and gave it to him. And in the course of getting the appointment letter, something happened. But there's something that triggered, because the company I was going in now was the oil and gas these people, my former company was working for. So something triggered that could lead for the company I left to tell these people to say,
like reference or
yes, don't allow him to work. So I wasn't actually in good terms with the MD because of the way I left, because of the way he treated me. So the decision was not between this company and this former company.
Wow.
So what happened? On that day, the new company called the MD. One of your men was from the city, was working with you, and Rolanti has left. He wants to join us. Can we take him? He said, go ahead. Mind that man, go ahead, take him. So when that happened, which unlike that man, so after I wasn't there, after whatever they did, so our surveyor, the guy, the surveyor there, when he left the meeting, he called me on the phone and said, where are you? I said, I'm in Delta. He said, what? That God you're serving. I said, what happened?
People, tribe and tongues that played their religions to serve Jesus forever. And today with me, I have Daddy Ugoji Chukwuemeka. He said God has done so many things in his life, but there's this one tied to serving God forever, and he will be sharing with us this morning. If you're out there, sit down and relax and let's hear that wonderful testimony God has done in his lives.
Okay, so a very peculiar one. I can, at all time, anytime I look back, if I remember it, it's overwhelming and makes me so as a young man in school in those days, doing engineering, we have that mindset that once you graduate, you come out to get a good job.
Exactly.
So after graduation, I realized that it wasn't as we thought. So
of course.
I graduated, then I started searching for jobs. And the target was I was going to get a job, being that I did engineering, I'm going to get a job in an oil and gas. It wasn't forthcoming. So I was in search of a job for 12 good years. And because of that search of job for 12 years, I was having encounters. I have jobs, but these are not actually what I want. So eventually, along the line, I keep my mindset that I know God will hear me. So on one occasion, I had a dream, and the dream was clear. And in that dream, I saw where I find myself and the kind of place it was. And then the Spirit in me told me, this is where you walk. So after that dream, it didn't take up to a year or two, I had a job. So the one I got that job, it was a servicing company working for oil and gas. So while in the job, a year ago, two, but I wasn't seeing what I expected. I was like, this is not the job. Or is it the job? I'm not told in the camp, because the job was a side job and always in the camp. So in my prayers, I was in a trance again. I saw myself in a very big wall, a kind of a confinement that doesn't have any exist. So in and out, in and out. So when I woke up, I was asking God, what is this all about? He said, this is not where I'm supposed to be. So where will I go? He said, I should leave. I said, God, I cannot leave. Because then I was already married. I said, if I live here, all my family eats. So if you're the one speaking to me, cause me to leave this place. So that was 3 years and 3 months. Something happened. At that site, I was a project supervisor, I was a safety officer, I was a grade master, so 3 positions in one, but I wasn't well paid. So something came up, and something that came up, there's something peculiar with that company. Those at the helm of affairs at a point, they begin to have issues with you, and when they have issues with you, they stop paying you salary. And once they stop paying you salary, if you think that after a month or two it will be resolved, you might be there for 6 months without getting a job.
Wow.
So, but as soon as that happened, I said it's time to leave, because I can't be here. Say I'm working, but no salary. Because the way the job was is, I stay outside for like 3 months. I don't see my family. So when I go, I spend 2 or 3. I say I can't see myself being here for 3 months. Then when I go home, Madam will be expecting money. I will tell her,
Exactly.
so it's better I leave. So I took that decision and leave. Meanwhile, before I leave, I had an interview. Before then, that was taking already 1 year. Okay, after the interview, they said we did well. But all of a sudden, due to the crisis then they have within the riverine, they cancelled the stuff. So when I get back to the house, I was like, my wife asked me what happened. I told her the job has finished. So we laughed over it. What do we do? So the little money I had, I started trying to do some few business. But within the week I got back, something came in me that you need to talk to God. Let him tell you the way forward. Remember your prayers. When he told you to leave here, you said no, you will not leave. Do something that will make me leave.
Yeah.
So something that has happened that makes me leave.
Now I have to come back to the source.
Go back to him again.
What exactly?
So when I talked to God in prayers, he said, you're going to start with prayers. I said, how? He said, you're going to have 3 days prayers. Then in my church we'll have 3 pastors. So call the children pastor to pray with you. So when he said that, I now called the children pastor. He said that look at the young man said, no, I can't pray with you. Except the senior pastor gives me the permission, because my house then is very close to the senior pastor's house. And if we're doing prayers with all night, if the senior pastor here without his permission, it will be a problem.
Exactly.
So I said, okay, I will go and tell the senior pastor. But before I go to the senior pastor, I said, God, if you are the one directing me, once I get to senior pastor, let him give me the children pastor. So as soon as I get to senior pastor, he said, it's okay, let the children pastor pray with you, because I won't have that time. That was how the miracle started. So I had 3 days fasting and prayer with all night. After that 3 days fasting and prayer with all night, the man of God told me to go. That God have yes. I said okay. I was like, God have heard where how, because I wasn't expecting any. Even I had an interview, but there was no decision.
No direction.
No direction. After like 2 or 3 days of that prayers, I had a call from the company that I need to come and start job. I was like,
the place you left?
Yes, 1 year. No, not where I left.
Okay.
The interview I did a year ago. So, can it be real? Okay, I said okay. So, on the process of trying to go, and no, before that, somebody called me from the field. The person that made me to submit my CV and take the interview and said, they want to revisit that your interview. Go and pray. So I now called my pastor, the children pastor, then say, look at, he said I shouldn't talk to him. I shouldn't tell him anything, that he knows what God told him, that the only thing he wants me to do, once I get the appointment letter, I should call him. I shouldn't call him for anything again. I said, okay. So after like 2 days after that information, I was called for that job. So they gave me a date to resume, and I now called him. So when I got the appointment letter, I showed him and gave it to him. And in the course of getting the appointment letter, something happened. But there's something that triggered, because the company I was going in now was the oil and gas these people, my former company was working for. So something triggered that could lead for the company I left to tell these people to say,
like reference or
yes, don't allow them to work. So I wasn't actually in good terms with the MD because of the way I left, because of the way he treated me. So the decision was now between this company and this former company.
Wow.
So what happened? On that day, the new company called the MD. One of your men was from the city, was working with you, and Rolante has left. He wants to join us. Can we take him? He said, go ahead. Don't mind that man. Go ahead, take him. So when that happened, which unlike that man, so after I wasn't there, after whatever they did, so our surveyor, the guy, the surveyor there, when he left the meeting, he called me on the phone. He said, where are you? I said, I'm in Delta. He said, what? That God you're serving. I said, what happened? I said, what happened? He said, they called the MD concerning you, and you know how he behaves. Unlike him, he said, you should go ahead. That means the job has clicked. So that was since then. And that's why since I've been working in that, no matter what happens, I'll tell people, no matter the shaking, it's only God that will move me from here.
So to wrap up this, meaning God is ever faithful, is ever there to listen to us. You know, there's this one thing that we cannot leave this God factor out of all our being. He said he owns us. Without him, we are nothing. If you're out there watching us, you've heard it all. Meaning, there's one thing that you can't do out of your life is to come in contact with this God, and they will never disappoint you. We would like to hear from Mr. Ugoji. That song you used to sing to testify of God's goodness. You know, this song that you like, you can sing in and outside the church, and like, God, you did this, I'll always use this to give glory to your name.
Okay, so there are a lot of songs that
just one you love so much.
Okay.
That pops up in your mind like, God, no, this is always for you. It's my morning, you know, sacrifice, my evening sacrifice. I will always lead it to you. Wow, you heard it all. Meaning God is ever there to answer you. All you need to do is to come to Jesus. Wherever you may be watching us, you too can call on that name, count on him, and people will tell you, continue serving the God the same way you did for Mr. Ogoji. Thank you on the worship.